Hello, this is Todd Luck. And so, as you know, the Wii U eShop is closing today, and I just want to give my final thoughts. And that includes that I accidentally bought Donkey Kong Jr. Math. I was trying to get the Gargoyles Quest game for the NES. I'd forgotten that existed, and I was in a hurry, not really paying attention, and ended up buying the game next to it, which was Donkey Kong Jr. Math. So I guess now I know what that game is like. Yeah, what you see is exactly what it is. There is no single player mode. There is always a second player there, even if you're playing by yourself. So you will always win in this game if you're playing single player because that other player is not doing anything. It's very odd. But Miyamoto actually said that they enjoyed this game around the Nintendo office back in the day. And I can see that if you've got a couple players who were mathematically inclined. But this is one of those games that will actually not be available at all in any form once this eShop closes. You can get the original cartridge, which is actually quite expensive, but this is one of many games that will not be available on a console. And of course, I did end up getting Gargoyles Quest 2, which is, again, another example of one of those little games that just isn't going to be available on consoles anymore. It's mystifyingly missing from the Switch. It's not on the Nintendo Switch Online service, even though you can play the Super Nintendo and Game Boy games of Gargoyles Quest, just not the NES. Who knows, maybe that'll be rectified at some point. If it is, I don't feel that bad. I'm just out $8. And plus, you know, there is something nice about owning it as opposed to subscribing to a service which may or may not be there at some point in the future. Man, I'm going to miss this little puzzle game. I always loved that when I was entering the Wii U eShop. Do you think they'll keep that after it closes down? I may just check that out. I always liked this little puzzle game. I always liked the music, too. They always did a good job. Very cheery stuff. Always nice to hear it while you were shopping. And so my final purchase, obviously I've been going on a buying spree the last few weeks trying to get games that were going to disappear. And my final one is Pushmo World. I bought that today. I've never played Pushmo before, but I just heard a lot of good things about it. So that made that my final Wii U eShop purchase. And I played it a little bit just to kick the tires and see what it was like. And it is fun. I think it does live up to the hype that I've heard. At least the first World did. So look forward to checking that one out. And I gotta say, I do like the way that they have done the closing of this eShop better than the way they did the Wii, where you couldn't add funds on there at the end, right? You had to add funds, and then it was almost a year before the shop closed. And so if you miscalculated or you changed your mind, that was it. You could not add any funds, and there was just games I couldn't buy. Here I could add funds up until the ending. And so when I'm like, hey, wait, maybe I should get Pushmo, I'm able to add some more money on there and get it. And so I got a lot more games this time. And so this is what I ended up with, and you're going to notice there's a lot of virtual console games in there because those are the ones that are going away. But also, you know, some games that were on sale, a lot of Konami, a lot of TurboGrafx, but there's also some brand new games in here that were exclusive to the Wii U. And one of those is Buddy and Me, and this is the delightful, relaxing game with beautiful hand-drawn artwork that is going away, and I thought this would be appropriate to show you guys while I'm giving you my final thoughts on the Wii U eShop closing. And so my thoughts haven't really changed a whole lot since the Wii eShop closed, but I've kind of made peace with the way things are. I've just kind of accepted it because I know that unfortunately it's not going to change, and we just have to really go and get the things that we want to preserve and put them on our own consoles and keep them, because that's the only way that they're going to stay there and be available for us. because there are gamers who want to play these games and want them to be accessible whenever we want them to be, even if it's years from now, right? But then there are game companies who want to make money, and that's not always profitable for them. Now, the good news in the current generation is that a lot of those companies have realized, hey, we can make a lot of money if we put out those old games, right? We've seen all kinds of games come out and re-released and put in collections we never thought we'd see, right? And that's awesome. But there's a lot of games that still aren't available in this generation, right? Or games that are being put out and they're locked to a mini console you have to pay over $100 to, or they're only available on an arcade one-up, right, that costs umpteen $100. So it just depends on what that company decides is profitable for them, right? And so, you just have to take advantage of when these things are available and buy them and keep them. And that's the only way that, these games can be preserved, and that you'll have access to them. I mean, Steam is becoming a more common thing, but not everyone goes for Steam, right? And who knows? I mean, things can get delisted on Steam too. But I mean, the nice thing about Steam is it does outlast the consoles, but not everyone wants to put video games on their computer. I'm one of those guys who's real hesitant about that. I'd so much rather have them on consoles. But I am very glad to see a lot of the retro stuff and older games being re-released on the modern consoles, and I hope to see that trend continue. And I'm talking about legal preservation. I'm not talking about bootlegging it. I'm sure there will be people who are going to put this out as emulation or ROMs or something if they haven't already. And that's fine. That's just not something I do. I just think that these things should be available legally for gamers to enjoy. And so this is not, to me, the death of the Wii U. I don't think any console dies as long as you are willing to play it and it still works, right? I still play my Nintendo Entertainment System, right? So these consoles, these games last as long as you want them to. And so you can still buy physical Wii U games and put them in your console and play them. You can still buy all the games you've downloaded, right? There's still online play that is available on some games on the console. All we are losing today is our ability to buy new downloadable games. But that is unfortunate, but that is inevitable with the passage of time. It is a great console, and I do enjoy it. I also enjoy the Switch. I think Nintendo has just put out a lot of great consoles over the years, and I'm so glad that we all get to enjoy them as long as we are willing to play them. All right, that's all my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about the Wii U eShop closing down. Were you able to get all the games that you wanted? And if you're watching this on Sunday, check out Buddy and Me. It's a great game that I'm very sad is going away. And so, see you guys, and until next time, stay fresh.